Well, I mean, the big news here in Australia is after 10 years of battling with government is we finally achieved charter. So that happened in December 2019. And probably the biggest weapon we had in our arsenal was the fact that we could point to other countries in our region and say that they were already doing charter. It's amazing the influence that we had with politicians when we could say that Fiji, New Zealand, and Tahiti all had similar rules that we were trying for and we were left behind. And I would help any country in the region learn from our mistakes, learn what worked for us, because the more countries in our region that offer charter, the more attractive we are as a region for vessels to relocate to this area, whether it's for a couple of seasons or permanently basing a yacht in this region. The more that we have to offer in the region, the better we can perform and compete on the world stage. So at the moment, the three main areas that vessels would come to Australia would be the Kimberleys in the northwest of Australia, there right underneath Indonesia, the Great Barrier Reef and Sydney. So the Kimberley region was put on the map quite a few years ago, where the vessel that's in that picture there, Motor Yacht Glaze, it won the Voyage of the Year award on the international awards, and there was a number of high-profile vessels that followed. Vessels such as Vava 2 and Octopus came to this region. And this region, as you see from that picture there, there is really only one way to see it, and that is by vessel. So, and it's in the middle of nowhere. So you get that isolation, that beauty similar to that shot. And that's a popular cruising region for vessels to come to. It's a lot closer linked to Indonesian than they are to the east coast of Australia. The second region is the world's largest living creature, which is the Great Barrier Reef. It's, you know, anyone who's into diving or into fishing has it as one of their bucket list items to do. The area is massive. It's 3,500 kilometres, square kilometres worth of reefs, and there's a number of vessels. It's probably 70% of the vessels that visit Australia will visit the Great Barrier Reef. And the third region is Sydney. So New Year's Eve on Sydney Harbour, most of the world gets to see the fireworks when they wake up on New Year's Eve, because New Zealand and ourselves have probably already celebrated New Year's. And you know, in the middle of summer, it's a location that a lot of vessels love to come and park themselves and enjoy. So the way we go about visiting, increasing our visitation in Australia, we do it collaboratively. So the next slide here, Nick. We have three phases to how we want to increase our visitation in Australia. The first is we need to reach the vessels. We do so by going over to the Monaco show and Fort Lauderdale, and we prefer to market ourselves as a region. So the APSA welcome party that we have at Monaco is definitely the best event that I've been to at the Monaco show. And when we go there and we show what the South Pacific has to offer, the human culture, the isolation, the paradise is our point of difference, and it's a far more successful way to get visitation to Australia. We know that a vessel's not going to come all the way to Australia from the other part of the world and not visit all that's on offer in the region. So we find that it's a lot more successful if we advertise as a region and we promote the other countries within the region. Once they're in the region, our next stage of promoting Australia is to run activities in the region. So in June, we run an activity in Tahiti, in August in Fiji, and in Thailand in January. And what we're doing here is we're helping those locations throw a big party for the crew and the captains, and we're advertising what we have in Australia, and we're pushing mainly our refit capabilities. Vessels, when they come to this region, if they need any work done between New Zealand and ourselves, we've pretty much got the boats covered, and we can increase the length of stay in the region by making sure that they don't have to go back to the other part of the world to get that work done. And then lastly, the third stage is we make sure that we deliver once the vessels are in Australia. So as I said, refit maintenance is a strength of ours, and by making sure that vessels can do their 5-10-year surveys, any maintenance that they need to be done, they can spend an extra year or two in the region without having to worry about going back to the Americas or to the Med. We offer premium marina infrastructure whilst they're here, and one of the things that we need to do is we need to get the vessels to travel wider. Those locations such as the Kimberleys, the Great Barrier Reef and Sydney are outstanding, but there's a lot more on offer. So we encourage that vessels also visit places such as Tasmania, brilliant cruising ground, Torres Straits, which offers the Polynesian islander type of culture, and it's located just between Australia and Papua New Guinea. The rest of Western Australia, and Trent will show you some fantastic shots soon of other locations in Western Australia, such as Ningaloo Reef, where you can go diving and snorkeling with whale sharks. The refit maintenance that we have on offer, the major hubs are in Western Australia, in Perth, the Cairns area in the Great Barrier Reef, southeast Queensland, where we've got Brisbane and the Gold Coast, and Sydney. So if we can add value to the region by saying that between ourselves and New Zealand, you will not need to go back to the other part of the world to get your refit maintenance done, and there's plenty of good cruising grounds which Trent will be able to go through when he has his time on camera.